Hello and welcome to Kathy's Corner. My name is Kathy Holt. I am a partner and trainer with Stewardship Resources, LLC. I am also an authorized teaching consultant for PowerChurch Plus accounting software. As this year is quickly coming to an end, and for most church bookkeepers, that means that the fourth quarter payroll tax return, along with W-2 and W-3 form preparations, are added to their lengthy year-end to-do list. Today's video, we're going to focus on preparing the fourth quarter 941 federal payroll tax return from PowerChurch. But even though we're focusing on the fourth quarter, these same steps that we will be going over can and should be done for the first, second, and third quarter 941 returns as well. It is always important to review the amounts that will flow to the 941 return and not just trust that the return printed from PowerChurch Plus will be correct. The saying garbage in, garbage out certainly applies here. If the payroll item set up in PowerChurch is not correct, or taxable or even non-taxable fringe benefit entries are not properly made in PowerChurch, you will have garbage in, garbage out. So in this video, I will be walking you through some review steps that need to be done before preparing the 941, as well as giving you some checks and balances as we walk through the printing or e-filing the federal 941 payroll tax return from PowerChurch. So before I walk through the review steps, it is very important for me at this point to let you know or to remind you that church and clergy payroll is not the same as normal business payroll. Now, if you did not realize that there was a difference, or all this time you've just been trying to do what was always done before, let me give you a little bit of encouragement here. You do not have to learn every single IRS rule related to church and clergy payroll. You just need to learn the IRS rules for the payroll items for your church. And then from that knowledge, it's important to know how to make sure that your payroll items that you use are set up correctly in PowerChurch, and how those payroll items should or should not flow to the 941 federal payroll tax return. Now, if you are thinking at this point, well, that's why we use a payroll service, so we don't have to learn all that stuff. It is still very important to have a basic understanding of church and clergy payroll, and the reasons that are relevant to our discussion today are that most payroll services do not have an understanding of church and clergy payroll, even if they tell you, oh, we do payroll for lots of churches. We run into this all the time. And unless the payroll service is specialized in church and clergy payroll and does not just do church and clergy payroll, they generally get something wrong. And I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm just letting you know what we have experienced when we're working with church clients. So it is important for you to know if the payroll service is doing your payroll correctly. You need to know if you are giving the payroll service all the information that they need. They may not be asking you all the questions that they should related to your payroll and benefits package. So you need to know what information you should be giving them that is related to your payroll and benefits package. Because here's the thing, if the payroll service messes up your payroll and the error is caught, the church, not the payroll service, is the one who the IRS considers the responsible party. I'll be talking more about getting proper training for this later, but for now, let's get started with the review process before preparing the quarterly 941 return. So the first step that I always go through with clients is to determine if there is any taxable income that was not entered through the payroll. Okay, so I want to take a minute here and let you know that in the resource section, there is a list of common taxable fringe benefits, as well as a video link regarding that list. So I won't take the time to go over them in this video, but it is a really important thing that you review this list and determine if any of these taxable benefits apply to your employees, and that includes the pastor, and you do that before you print the quarterly 941 return. If you find taxable income that has not been processed through the payroll module, now is the time to make any of those needed corrections. Now, the second step is to print a payroll item summary report from the payroll module, and it will serve as a check and balance against the amounts that will show on the 941 that will be printed in PowerChurch. Now, this report will have a list of every payroll item used in processing payroll for the quarter, as well as the amount of every payroll item used in processing payroll for the quarter. Each payroll item has its own set of rules, and it is very important to know the rules for every payroll item in your setup. Now, clergy payroll especially is a very specialized area of payroll. And again, it is not the same as regular business payroll. And if you don't know the rules for every payroll items, it is very important for you to get some help so that you know that every payroll item is set up correctly. So for now, let's continue with step 2. Now here's an example of a payroll item summary report that we just talked about and how to print it from PowerChurch. Now step 3, in order for this check and balance to work, you need to know how each item listed on this report should flow to the Federal 941 return. So will each item add or subtract from federal wages? Will each item add or subtract from Social Security and Medicare wages? And should this item or should this amount even appear on the 941 at all? Now, step 4, from the payroll item summary report, you will need to make some calculations. And you're going to do it from the amounts that you show on this report for what is the total federal wages, the total Social Security and Medicare wages, the total federal taxes withheld, the total Social Security taxes withheld plus the employer match, the total Medicare taxes withheld plus the employer match. Now, step number 5 is you will be using the calculations from step 4 that we just went over to confirm that the amounts that show on the 941 prepared in PowerChurch are correct. And we'll be looking at that screen in a minute. Now, if the totals from this step do not match the totals printed on the 941 form, in PowerChurch, you do not go forward further until you determine why you are not matching and make any needed corrections. Now, if at this point you are unsure of how to make this check and balance work for you, it is very important for you to get some guidance from someone who can make sure that your payroll items are set up correctly, teach you how to make those calculations, and help you to make any corrections if or when they are needed. So at this point, you may be thinking, okay, I see that I'm needing some help here, but who do I call? So if you need help, You are welcome to, and I encourage you to call us at Stewardship Resources, LLC. Not only do we specialize in PowerChurch setup and can teach you how to use the program properly, but we also specialize in church and clergy payroll, and we can help you with any corrections if or when they are needed. Okay, now let's walk through the steps of printing the fourth quarter 941 in PowerChurch Plus. So here is the path to get to that screen. Now you want to make sure that the year is correct. If it's not, that means you need to do a maintenance release. Now, hopefully you are not to the fourth quarter, and you're just now realizing that this year says 2024. If that's the case, you have deeper issues that we need to discuss. So make sure the year is correct. Choose the proper quarter, and in this video, we're going through the example of the fourth quarter. Make sure that your federal ID number is in there correctly. Your deposit frequency. Now, if you are unsure of the deposit rules, they begin on page 30 of the Publication 15 Circular E that is in the resource section. So now I'm going to say next. Now this is the screen that you use as the check and balance with the calculations made from the payroll item summary report that we discussed earlier in step 4. So on line 2 is your federal wages. So that should match with the calculations that you made from the payroll item summary report for the total federal wages. That should match here. Here is your total federal income tax withheld. Down here in 5A column 1 is your total Social Security wages. And box 5C column 1 is your total Medicare wages. And box 5A column 2, that is your total Social Security wages withheld plus the employer match. And box 5C column 2 is your total Medicare taxes withheld plus the employer match. Now, if your Social Security taxes and Medicare taxes are a few cents off, as long as it's with under $1, it's not a problem. PowerChurch will fix it for you on the next screen. But other than that, everything else should be to the penny. So I'm going to say next. And here is where PowerChurch will fix those cents off. If they were off, and again, it should be under $1. Generally, it's just a few cents. Usually it's under 30 cents, usually is what I see. I'm going to say next. If you have made tax deposits through EFTPS, you will enter the total of deposits for the quarter in box 13. PowerChurch does not automatically enter that amount for you, and I always suggest that you get this information from the payroll history report that you can print when you're logged into EFTPS. Now, if the EFTPS deposits were done correctly, then the total deposits showing in box 13 that you enter should equal the total taxes that were due showing on box 12. Now, if you have been making the deposits through EFTPS and the totals in box 12 and 13 do not match, do not go forward until you discover why the amounts do not match. This indicates that there's a correction needed somewhere. Now, if the check and balance process I've been going through with you has matched to this point, and it's only at this point then you're off, then most likely the correction needed will be the process that you're using to determine the EFTPS deposit amount to be made. The point is that you need to know why the amounts don't match so that you will be making correct deposits going forward. So I'm going to say next. Now the total taxes amount showing here for month 1, month 2, month 3. These are the amounts due for each amount, not the EFTPS deposits made. Now, if you made deposits monthly through EFTPS and always done correctly, then the monthly amounts here should match the amount of your monthly EFTPS deposits, which is another check and balance for you. So I'm going to say next. You want to make sure that the name of your church, your address, your contact person, the telephone number is filled in correctly here. And I'll say next. Make sure that you print a 941 to save for your records. And it's best to have, if you are mailing the 941, it's best to have a copy, a signed copy, a copy of the signed form that you mail in to the IRS. And the reason is because you cannot obtain a copy of this 941 from the IRS at a later date. So if you're going to be mailing it, you need to print 2 copies. Now, if you would like to e-file the 941, click on the file electronically. Now, if you have not already set up an e-filing account, you have the option here to create an account. Just click on Create Account. You will fill out the form, submit, and your account is created. Now, once the account is created, you will need a PIN number to electronically file the 941 returns. Now, during the process of submitting a 941, you will come to this screen where there are buttons with the option of I'm an employer with a PIN. Use this one if you already have a PIN. And if you don't have a PIN, click on I need a PIN. Now, if you click on I need a PIN, you will fill out an application. And as you go through that application, further information on the process will be given to you as you go through those screens. Now, it's important to know that this is not the same PIN as is used for payments through EFTP. Excuse me. This is not the same PIN as used for the payments through EFTPS. This PIN is also obtained from the IRS, but it is a different PIN than used for EFTPS deposits. Now, this is a process that can take several weeks to complete, and if needed because of the due date, you can create a fake 941 in order to go through the process and then not e-file the fake 941, and it can be deleted later. Now, I do not have an e-filing account where I can show you the e-filing process, the entire process. However, I can tell you that once you are in the e-filing account and get logged in, that you will review the forms in progress. In this case, it'll be the 941. You will choose the e-filing bundle desired. You will see the cart list. You will pay with a credit card. It's a small amount, not very much. And your will be, when the congratulation page comes up, you know that it has been e-filed. And from that point, you will print the congratulations page. You'll print the congratulations page. You will print the 941 return as a copy for your records, and you can save it as a PDF file as well, and print the receipt. During our time together, I hope that you have learned why it is so important to understand the IRS rules related to the payroll for your church, to know that your payroll items are set up correctly, and to know how those payroll items should flow to the federal 941 return, as well as how important it is to have review and check and balance steps along the way when preparing the 941 return. Now, our focus today has been on the fourth quarter return, but as we discussed before, those same steps can and should be done for the first, second, and third quarter returns as well. These steps can save you from having to go through the process of filing an amended term at a later date. Let me give you a heads up. My next video will be on walking through preparing the W-2 and the W-3 forms. Now, during that video, you will see another reason why making sure that each quarterly 941 return is correct. So don't forget to check out the helpful resources in the resource section. It has been a pleasure to share this information with you today. As always, if you have any questions or need help, you are welcome to contact me at the email or the phone number below. Please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, God bless you and have a fantastic day.